Oh crap. Did I just... Yeah, I did. I let all the electricity out of that container. I don't think it catches on fire due to being overpowered. Holy crap. Just put you down for now and not touch you until the end of the video. Alright, well, you all know the drill, and of course the timestamp should be listed at the bottom of the screen, just in case. But as far as I'm concerned, Drake has left Kale-Idle-Scope. He still is not saying anything for whatever reason. In fact, he hasn't said anything since like March. You know, I could still do KAS without him, but he did give me quite the company. I'm even convinced he may have even unfollowed. Now, I hope the bitch botch applesauce. That's not a true statement. I don't know why he would do that, but like I said, he's not saying anything. He's kind of off doing his own thing, so it could have been someone else who just lost interest in Kale-Idle-Scope, in which case, good luck trying to find peace in the world, you dummy. Just kidding. I'm not calling Drake a dummy, and just in case you got confused. I just don't know why he's not saying anything. It's looking pretty likely at this point that we're gonna have to scrap the progress that's been made on the Ponderosa map. And, you know, I've been dreaming about that crap, if we'll ever get that thing completed, but don't give up hopes yet. I probably won't do anything with this modeling stuff until probably close to the end of the year or something. But yeah, people are just dropping like dead flies in my life. Drake's not saying anything, and I've had 2 people who have died in the past year that I've known. Last September, when episode 160 was the newest one, my now deceased homeboy said that he would like it if I someday made it to 320 episodes, so twice as many as what was available those months ago. Obviously, it'll take many, many years to get to that number, but just as his final request, we'll try to make it to at least 320. That will be our goal. And hell, for that matter, just go past 320 if you can. Because if there's going to be this much damn life left in me, there's going to be more videos. I don't know when the show will end, but let's not count on that being anytime soon. So yeah, things change with time, something we all should probably adapt to at some point. But what hasn't changed much is the electrical issues that are going on in America. I like the US pretty decently. I mean, it's the only one with traditional states. But it ain't near perfect. I'm sure you guys all know. What I mean by electrical problems is many places here have poles with transformers and power lines that go in the air, instead of like buried beneath the ground. I don't know why that would be. Possibly there's too much stuff going on underneath the dirt, but you know, other countries have it that way. The power lines are digged down deep. So why can't we at least start? Too late, isn't it? Kind of going off script here, but one time I was thinking like, maybe there should be a blue light on the traffic lights, which would mean going in reverse. I mean, it's kind of pointless, I know, but at the time I thought it was a cool idea. And my grandma was like, that would be a lot of traffic stops to have to alter. And that's not even just America, that's all over the world, I think. So yeah. But anyway, now, I only mention this because there have been some damn nasty outages on the Ponderosa this summer. Like one morning it was out for 4 hours, and I kid you not, another morning when I wasn't there, it was out for 14 hours. And that would have been going into the daytime, so, you know, that long of a period. But in this kind of heat, unacceptable, my guy. We gotta have that AC. I mean, at least it wasn't the New York blackout where idiots thought they were allowed to steal fuck. But come on, if this sort of thing has to happen every once in a while, let it be during the daylight for damn sake. So yeah, obviously there's still plenty of room for improvement in our ecosystem and a lot left to learn. But these days, we have so many ways of gaining energy that the concept of just running out completely is kind of unrealistic. I mean, yeah, power outages are still a thing, but the energy is still stored somewhere. We have energy sources that are powered by water, coal, wind, the sun, so basically all 4 of the elements there. And as long as those things are still a thing, we're mostly good. But in the alternate realm where the monsters live, they've only discovered one source for energy, and that's the human voice. Now, in the end, this is just a cartoon, and if you've watched the BBM episode known as Of Pencils and Properties, you may think I take this animated crap too seriously, but in actuality, I really don't. I was complaining about how Peter Griffin could walk up the stairs, but not down them. The reason is not because it's animated. The reason is because the writers didn't think it through very well. It didn't really need to be a whole entire episode. I mean, not a bad video, but kind of a pointless one. So with all that said, Monsters Incorporated is not real. So in the end, this really doesn't matter, but we're gonna theorize it anyway because that's what BBM is for. Now, during the typing of this episode's script, I found this video of some guy in Australia with the username of Golden. If you want to watch the video, go to the description and click the link. But he was basically wondering how the doors worked in Monsters, Inc.
How do the doors work in the Monsters, Inc. movies? The first possible answer that I can think of, and I would assume everyone would think, is the idea that these doors are just basically portals. A door exists in the kid's bedroom, and that is one end of the portal. It can be turned on and off only at the other end, which is in the Monsters Incorporated factory. This is done solely by having the door in position and powered on in the Monsters world. This idea, at least at face value, seems like the way to go. But the more you think about it, it begins to unravel. The main argument I can see against this would be when Mike reconstructs Boo's door from pieces left behind after it goes through a wood chipper.
So, most of what he says in this video is too much for my brain to catch up, but he did mention that he believes that the doors are basically portals from another world. And by other world, he means another planet. That's right, he mentioned that he believes the monsters could actually be aliens. Not monsters versus aliens, the monsters are aliens. And fun fact, while I was watching that video, I was hoping that he would actually say something about aliens, and he actually did. Let's make this segment of the video quick, but I hella underestimated the distance between us and them. The most advanced species in the universe are at least 1 billion years in the future. And if we're talking that far out there, these guys don't travel place to place by going the distance, they just warp there. So the point is, the theory of the monsters actually being aliens in this movie is kind of interesting and all, except that they have cars, televisions, buildings, and other things that were pretty on par with what we had in the early 2000s when I was born, so them having the capability to warp to different planets via portals disguised as old wooden doors, that wouldn't be possible. But again, it's a cartoon, so it doesn't mean too much. And you know, maybe that wasn't what they were going for anyway. And as a matter of fact, Golden actually did mention that the monsters did look pretty on par with our advancements. So yeah, I don't think Pixar intended for these guys to be aliens from another planet. They just intended them to be from another realm or dimension or whatever. But, you know, the portal doors weren't exactly what I wanted to discuss in this episode. It was more so the power source they have to power their world. They have somehow been able to harness the energy that comes from a human scream. And you know, if they're able to go to the human world, why don't they just steal some of our regular electricity? I mean, I guess I don't want to snoop around for too long though, because they know that they'll get their ass whooped by some grown-up that isn't scared of them, no matter how big some of them are. And especially these days when a lot of kids and babies have like cameras in their rooms so the parents can monitor them while they sleep or something. So surely someone out there would be all like,
"Get out of here, you creep! Going to sleep? This is my bedroom. I've been living here for 40 fucking years. You fucking think you own the place. Get out of here."
Sorry, Sam. Won't happen again.
I'm pretty sure in our world we can't get electricity just from loud noises. I mean, that would send out sound waves and all, which I guess is a form of force to some degree, but it's nowhere near as fast as light, which artificial light is powered by electricity, so yeah. And at first these monsters thought that human beings were dangerous to touch, which is why it takes serious professionals to harness the energy from the children, even though they don't even wear protective gear like the CDA do when going into the human world. What would happen if a child got scared and accidentally hit the monster? Wouldn't that be contagious? Anyway, what I'm basically saying here is at some point in their history, a monster discovered that loud human vocals could be used to power objects. Therefore, there had to have been a point in their world where a monster got close to or touched a human being just to discover that fact. Kind of like how humans used to think tomatoes were poisonous until someone consumed one and nothing really happened. So why do they still believe that they're unsafe to touch? Like, wouldn't that knowledge carry over to the factory and the whole monster community? I honestly don't know. But what I also don't know is how a child's laughter causes 10 times more power than their screaming. I understand that it's just a message that Pixar didn't want children to be scared, they want them to be happy. But honestly, I would have assumed that the power they obtained would determine on how loud the noise was. I'm thinking a little ass kid screaming would be even more loud than them laughing, but again, that's just a message. I do believe that wraps up this episode. I think I'm gonna try to aim for Kale-Idle-Scope 8 being completed within the next few uploads, no guarantees. But anyways, I will... Oh no, it's just as I feared. The power's out because they opened that container. Well, what should I do? Should I scream to turn it back on, or should I laugh? I mean, screaming would disrupt the rest of the household, but laughing might cause too much energy, so...